question I got was from Mr. Siddharth Agarwal that I'm considering having a partner in my school because I require the funds. Um, would I advise him to do that? See, my first reaction is no, do not go for partners. Partnerships don't last very long. I mean, the Ambani brothers could even last after their fathers passing away. So partnerships cannot you cannot assume that partners will go on forever. Very few partnerships. If you look around the just look at around your community, how many partnerships have lasted 10, 15 years? And a project like a school is not a 15-day, 1 year, 2 year project. It's a legacy that you leave for the future generations, for your children and for children in the community. So normally speaking, I would advise against it. However, sometimes people say, "But what do I do? I have the land and he has the money and he cannot afford to buy land. And why don't we get together and, or we are three friends and I'm feeling scared alone. I don't feel that getting confidence, so I need somebody to help me. It's a lonely journey being an entrepreneur. Yes, it's lonely being an entrepreneur. That's why one of the reasons why I suggest taking a franchise, because when you take a franchise, there's always somebody to guide you on your journey, somebody to handhold you, and also not only just handhold you. Who's actually a franchisor is better than a partner because they've actually made the mistakes. They've seen, they have much more experience than having a partner who's equally inexperienced as you. So if uh, it's just whatever advice you're getting from each other is just basically common sense adding up. It's not expertise. But when you take a franchise, the advantage is, a, you get expertise of a franchisor helping you, and you also have the support of other franchisees in the network, because more franchisees who are all tied to the same brand, all they want to support each other, because if one franchise does well, there it impacts their branch as well, because people say, oh, I saw your branch in that city, it's doing really well, and they feel proud of it. So joining a franchise network gives you that support from the top, from the franchisor, as well as from a peer group which is very very strong, and they have done it, they've been there before you. In our case, our franchisees have been with us for nearly 30 years. So the kind of advice you get on any challenge that you may face is going to be very practical, very genuine, and from the heart as well. But again, if you still feel no, 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 I want to, even if I'm taking a franchise, I want to go with a partner. And a lot of our franchises are partners as well, and that's true. A lot of, especially when it comes to the women entrepreneurs, they somehow, I don't know, maybe it's an Indian thing where we're not groomed our girls to be strong, independent. So they tend to want support of a friend or somebody to join hands and say, okay, let's do it together. The ride will be fun. And so if you do really want to have a partner, it's fine. But what I normally advise is, if you're three partners, plan on setting up three schools within the next 4 or 5 years, so that ultimately you can decide, okay, this one's going to be hers, this is going to be hers, and then if the day you decide to split up, you can just go on your separate ventures. Otherwise, I've seen a lot of partnerships where the breakup has been very nasty, and I mean, people who are best friends uh, become really sworn enemies, and just for a few lakh rupees, I don't think it's worth losing your best friend or your sister to a commercial decision. So if you are entering into relationship, a business relationship or partnership, I would advise you to plan the exit as well at the time of joining. Don't plan that, oh, things will go fine and we'll all be happily ever after. It doesn't work that way. And it'll work, mostly it works that way if whatever happens in the real business world is what you are expecting. If you get numbers which are below your expectations, there's pressure. If you get revenues which are more than your expectations, then there's again pressure, because pressure comes in the form of the one partner wants to cash out, wants money for their day-to-day living expenses. Another partner feels, oh, we're doing so well, let's invest more money so that our school grows to the next level. Now suddenly one partner doesn't want to do, the other one has different vision. So when you getting into partnership, plan out these things ahead. What if the school needs more funds? Who will put in? Sometimes one partner does not have the funds. So think of the bad things, think of things that can happen which are you don't think of before entering. And what will happen is, when you have already decided, if this happens, this is what we're going to do, right when things are very very good and people are cooperative, you'll have a written solution to it. Then when you enter, the chances of you lasting with your partner are much more. We try not to think about these things. I mean, for example, we don't think about death, right? Or don't think about it. It's going to happen one day, so might as well plan for it. But if you live in ignorance, so if you enter a partnership going in with ignorance, it's not it's when things go bad, where you need money or there's too much money, in both cases, the strain starts showing up. So uh, the best form of partnership that I have seen in a school is, especially in a 10 plus 2 or K-12 school, is because there's a lot of capital required and a lot of franchisees tend to be partners as well, where you have one active partner who decides everything and everybody else is just an investor and they don't question what the main person is doing. As long as that is happening, the relationships tend to go longer. But once everybody starts questioning, poking their notes, is there five or six partners in a K-12 school, everybody's having a meeting, committees happening, then it's just a mess. I would rather say that if you want to set up a K-12 school and you're like 10 partners who come in together, just open a primary school on your own. You'll be a much more you'll have a happier life ahead. So I hope I've been able to talk about the pros and cons of setting up a school in partnership. There is no right and wrong answer, but I just wanted to make you aware of my experience and hope you will benefit from that. Again, as always, if you have any questions, write them in the comments below. I'm sure you have a lot of questions when you want to set up your school. So write them in the comments below. Click the subscribe button, click the bell icon, and wish you all the best in your school project. Good luck from Amol Arora.